Welcome everybody to Nine's Corner. Hi, I'm Nine. It's nice to meet you. And if you're returning, welcome back, my dear friends. So, in our last video, we were talking about the Christmas season kind of coming upon us and not necessarily feeling the Christmas spirit to want to get up Christmas ornaments and decorations and all that kind of stuff. So a number of people relate to me their favorite Christmas songs, and one I should have remembered. I should have wrote down the person's name, um, but one person had said they love the song "I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas," and I just thought that was so innocent and joyful and just. And so I went out, I put on Spotify, I played the song, and I got up all my Christmas decorations. So I was a very good elf that night. So I did up a little video to show you just an example of what I've got going in my house. And I did a little singing, so forgive me, but I was inspired.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only hippopotamus will do. Don't want a doll, no dinky tinker toy. I want a hippopotamus to play with and enjoy. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
I know I'm as foolish as they come, but hey, it's a little bit of fun. So we're going to have to get into a really serious conversation here. We're going to have to talk about antibiotics, what's been going on because there's such a lack of them. I mean, my girlfriend back home in Newfoundland's like, Nana, there's no baby not aspirin, like baby Tylenol, like for liquids for children. And I'm just like, okay, I'll check in my pharmacy. But it's in the United States, it's in the UK, it's in Canada, it's in France, it's in all these places where there is this shortage of antibiotics. And the news is reporting that, they because of COVID and they weren't expecting, and I'm thinking, how do they not expect this? If they knew that COVID was such a big deal, and it was huge, and everybody needed to have those medicines that they needed, but there's also people having earaches and all that kind of stuff. So there's a surge on it. So if I, as a common person, can say, okay, well, obviously you're going to need more production, then why are they saying, oh, we didn't know? You did know. Somebody knew. Somebody dropped the ball because you and I can figure this out. So I was looking at all the newscasts and it was all like, oh, it's production, it's this, it's that. And my spidey senses were just going, there's something here, there's something here. So I tried to look into it. And, the reality is that a good percentage right now of the ingredients that we use for antibiotics comes from either India or China. The market is for China. They got like 80% of the market. But the actual production, the actual making of the medicine happens in United States, in Canada, in Australia. So even though we do our own production, we're dependent on India or China to give us some of the raw ingredients that we need. So right now, they're blaming that the slowdown in production and all that stuff is caused by COVID. They've had this slowdown, which I'm sure accounts for some of it. But the reality is that they knew that we were going to be in crisis. They knew that we were going to need this. They knew that we were going to need a surge, and there would be a surge on antibiotics. So why haven't they met the demand or at least increased production? We're all kind of in this world where COVID is still existing, but you're not hearing about all the numbers and the deaths and all that kind of stuff. And God willing, that's not something we're going to have to go through again. But the reality is we're going to have colds, we're going to have ear infections, we're going to have things that we need antibiotics for. So my question is it politics that's slowing down the production? Is our relationship with China and China saying, well, you know what, we this is slow. And China's obviously having a lot of issues with COVID. So it's like such a complicated situation. But I do feel like politics has to have a role in the production or the slowdown in the production. There has to be responsibilities to somebody. Is this the World Health Organization? Like, what's happening out there? So I thought, rather than trying to do a reading on any specific country or any specific product or anything else, I thought, let's just do a reading on antibiotics and the medicines that we need to be healthy, because there's a lot of strains that are coming out that we don't have a antibiotic solution for, and they are resistant to the antibiotics that we have. And there's a big push to try to create these new antibiotics that will take care of the superbugs, but we're so slow in getting it done. And it's just, I don't know. So let's do a reading on antibiotics. Let's look at what is the main situation here, what's crossing it. Let's do the whole Celtic cross to find out what is going to be the end result with this, supply and demand issue when it comes to antibiotics. Are we going to have more issues with other productions of other things, of other medicines? Like, okay, so okay. At the center, we have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is all about loss, but with this loss, something remains. So I think that, yes, there is this supply-demand issue. I think because we see the two cups here, that there's more that's been in production, or the raw materials for the production are there, but they are purposely being kept away. And this is what's causing the defeat. That's what's causing the upset, because I do think that world leaders and the politics between them is definitely affecting the flow, and not taking health as the main important thing. They're taking money and the political loss and gain of it. So this is why we're seeing this loss. So let's have a look. What's crossing it? The Magician. Here's the manipulation. Here's the control. This is the willpower of the companies, the money, the people that make the millions and billions with radiation and all those things that a lot of people have said, and even doctors have said that there's other ways to do it, but because it can't make money, then therefore it's not being produced, it's not being pushed, it's not being even looked at or researched. So I think that the manipulation is going and causing this stress, this loss. So yes, there's a lot of manipulation, but I think it's the cause of money over health. I think it has the world leaders in it. I think it has the World Health Organization in it. And I think the pharmaceutical companies are probably the biggest manipulators, because they're the ones that put money into politics and then they expect favors. So underneath, we have the Ace of Swords. So the truth will come out, because this is somebody who's looking for the long-term gain. So underneath this situation is the long-term plans of how they can gain money, how they can manipulate the system to get what they want, the push and pull. but this is communications. This is paperwork that's going to come out and show that there is issues beyond just the slowdown in production because of COVID. We're going to find out that there's something specific that will end up being revealed. But if you look at this card, do you see this kind of like bright light? Underneath this, I truly believe 100% that there has been breakthroughs where they have found things that can help, that can cure, that can do all these amazing things. But because they can't make money on it, they're not pushing them. So I think at the same time that we're dealing with this manipulation, at the same time that we're dealing money over health, that there are going to be breakthroughs, and that we as a people, as a society, and especially because, I mean, it takes forever to get in to see the doctor. I don't know about in other countries, but here in Canada, we have free healthcare. But my God, it takes like months to get an appointment with the doctor because they're just overwrought with people that need to get in to see them. So I think we're going to have to depend on some of those homemade therapies, but there's going to be more breakthroughs where they're going to be able to say, hey, use this common product that's cheap and we can help you with XYZ. So with the pain comes a lot of hope. And I say this because if you look at the base of the situation, yes, there's loss, but there's things that remain. And these things are the things that we will see in the future. When you look at the cards, you kind of got to, especially doing a Celtic cross, you're really trying to look at the cards and put the cards together so you can see how each one interlocks to other ones and why everything means the things that they mean. Okay, so in the past, we have strength. This is not shocking to me at all. Strength being the power of money, the power of and the spiritual lesson of inner strength. Do you have the inner strength to do the right thing, that which is proper, and be of service? Or are you going to take that strength, hold people down so that you can have the money? I think I immediately, when I just said that and I'm looking at the lion here, I was like, I think in the past we have been aware of the damage that we've been doing to the animals, that we've been doing with the environment, taking away their homes, destroying woodlands, destroying, coral reefs. I mean, we could go on and on. And this destroys the possible medicines and cures that we will need for the future. So this is that push and pull again of what is right. And there's cause and effects. And they are so much more than what we could ever imagine. Don't forget that at the end of the day, no matter what we do as humans, whatever we do, we will destroy ourselves and the earth will be left living on before anything would ever happen to the earth. The earth will expel us. So we have to be aware of the environment, be aware of the animals, and be aware of the past coming into our future to say, hold on now, you're going to have to deal with some issues. So, crowning them. The Knight of Pentacles. Responsibility, but whose responsibility? On top of it, there's this, on the one hand, there's this money aspect, that there's this business aspect of we have to do this in order to. But there's also this, on top of it, this giving of health, giving of life. But this also means that on top of it, we have to be concerned with the finances that come with prescriptions, the finances that come with, long-term health issues. So crowning is the dealing with money, Whereas people are worried about how do we pay for our prescriptions, especially if you don't have medical insurance. But the powers to be, the powers that want to make money, the ones that want to have the power, the ultimate power, are also there. So there's a opposition happening here, a double meaning happening here. But let's look in the near future. The King of Cups. So I do think that, yes, there's going to be more information coming out. It's going to be slow in coming, but we will hear of, drips coming through. There's the King of Cups here. There's somebody here who truly feels a responsibility. This is somebody who's fair. This is somebody who's worried about people and is in service to people. But in the near future, this is also showing you that there is going to be this fight between desire and need. There's going to be a fight between money and power and human health. We are going to have to see some really rough waters, but I truly believe somebody of strength, somebody who's reliable, who's fair, is going to come, and there's going to be that lone voice out in the wilderness that's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger and help us through this. But in the near future, that means we are going to be hearing something that has come out. Okay. This is the feeling of the situation of antibiotics. So this is going to say, hey, supply is going to get really strong. You need to meet the supply. This is saying, hey, you need to up your production. If you don't have it, then you need to go talk to the people that can help you. India is a great source, and we have good relations with them. But I think that because of the number of people that are in India, it's hard to get the resources without hurting people. So I think there's a whole complicated situation there. But this is really take control. You need to take control of this situation. The people that are responsible, the World Health Organization, the ones that take care of all of us, because health is something that we as a world have in common, and what affects one will eventually affect the other. So you do have to take responsibility. But I also think that, again, this is showing communications that will expose that there are issues beyond just, COVID slowing down production. It is political powers, people of health, wealth, power, World Health Organization, we're going to find out that there's something to this situation. So the people around, come on now, this is the card that represents others. That's you and me. This is justice. This is saying, listen, you will end up getting your just deserves, like your just rewards. People want the truth. And as we start hearing the little bits of truth, when we start hearing that, hold on now, you're putting our health in danger because of political issues or not having good relations and not having plan A, B, and C, knowing that you could see this coming a mile away. All of us could see this coming a mile away. And then on top of it, you add the lack of antibiotics. People can't even go and take care of their own cold, and then they're ending up in hospital or trying to end up at their doctor's office. So this is saying, hey, we're going to rise up. We are going to rise up and say, hey, we deserve better than this. What is rightfully ours is the right to have health. So I think there's going to be a lot of push for or a demand for better health, better prescription prices. There's going to be a rise up of people saying that, hey, we need more research for cheaper drugs that actually work. it's going to be, people are going to just say, no, we want responsibility given back to us. We want to take responsibility for our own health. And as we rise up, there's going to be a want to take care of all the things that are being affected in our health. And that includes, prescription prices, doctor's appointments, and all the things that we need to have a healthy society, whether it be mental, physical, spiritual. All these things have to come together. But we have to stand up against what is or what has been the old way of doing things and push the new way into our new century, our new way of being, our new lives. So that's a wonderful card to get. So their fear, geez Louise. The biggest fear that's happening right now is the fear of death, the fear of not having enough, the fear of people dying without reason, without the need of dying, because there is medicines, there are things that can help, there are things that they could tell us that, listen, go do this. We can't make money off it, but it will help you. It'll get you 90% of the way there. But it's all about money at the end of the day. That's one aspect, because this is your hopes and fears. The hope is that we will take down the old structure, the old way of being, the way that has been destroyed by people's want of money and power. And this is also the card of let go, let God, that there's going to be an intervention. That is not that as we rise up, as we look for justice and we get our justice, we are going to have divine intervention. Divine intervention is going to help us. Divine intervention is going to put the right people at the right time in the right situations so that we can take care of this situation. It's just that in order for that to happen, we have to build up our vibration to realize and understand and to listen and to look for what's happening around us so we can control it, so that we can deal with it. At the end of the day, okay, 3 of Cups. Sorry, I've been, okay, blah, 9, I just get to the point. The cards have been kind of like, but this is my card of, you know what? We are going to do it. We are going to rise up. We are going to deal with a lot of these medical issues that have been dogging us for years, for centuries, for decades, for centuries. This is us celebrating finding out the truth. This is us celebrating getting breakthroughs. This is us celebrating winning. This is us winning against the old way of doing it and finding a new way of doing it. This is about service to others, that we have to be grateful for the gifts that we are going to get, because divine intervention is going to help us along. So there's going to be hope, there's going to be charity, and there's going to be a service to people. And we're going to find the ways, and we're going to learn to help each other. And it's going to be a much more, because we're going through the beginning of change, and change can only happen when you break down the way things are. And unfortunately, that's a pain that we have to go through. Or we could look at it as, wow, we are here. We are the people that will be talked about in the future, that decided that we want to change, push for change. We are going to be the shoulders that people will step on and hold up them, so that we can have fairness for people when it comes to health. I think that's a beautiful thing. All right, guys. So one of the things that I do in my weekly vibes is that I give everybody an opportunity to think about a question that they would like to know the answer to, that has a yes, no, or a maybe. So maybe you're thinking there, does he like me? Does she like me? Will she marry me? Is he lying behind my back? You can go back in the past. You can say, what happened to John F. Kennedy? Whatever question you want to ask that has a yes, no, or a maybe answer, this is your time to answer it. So this is something I do in my weekly vibes, and I want to share it with you and see what you think. So right now, quiet your mind, take a deep breath, and think about it. What question do you have on your mind that you'd like to have an answer? I will read my angel's answers, and it'll give you advice. Do you have your question? The answer is compromise. In order to create a happy outcome for this situation, you will find it necessary to compromise. Allow yourself some time to become clear about what is truly important to you. Also, take note of matters where you would be open to changing your position. Work towards an agreement where everybody wins. Be open to cooperation that would allow you to get what you need while also assisting others in fulfilling their desires. Be objective about finding a balance between respecting everyone else's viewpoints and still being true to your own. So my dear friends, that's another reading wrapped up. I thank you for spending the time with me. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And I appreciate and I am in such gratitude for all your likes and shares and support. And as always, I have our unity candle lit for each and every one of us. And until the next time we chat, my friends, cheerio and take care.